TV. And how's you going today? T6. Crystal, hey baby girl. Gotta talk about Dolph today. Gonna catch the court hearing with Cornelius. I'll cut this down. Get our prayer on. Then we gonna jump into what happened in court today. I'm sure the family is not pleased. I'm gonna say it again. I hope the feds come back around and do what they need to do to get all the rest of the people that are involved taken off the streets. That's my prayer. That's my hope and prayer for them, so that, you know, for the most part, we the people, we feel like I was going to say Justin Dolph got full justice. Let's go. Let's start with the prayer, because I got a live coming up right after this. So let's go. I guess I need.
Thank you for waking them up this morning. Thank you for giving them another day of life, another opportunity to walk with you, another chance to experience your goodness, your mercy, your love. God, your word says in Psalm 118, verse 24, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. So today, no matter what they face, I pray that joy would rise up within them. Father, I pray Isaiah 41 verse 10 over them. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Strengthen them today, God. Strengthen them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Some people are tired. Some people are carrying burdens nobody knows about. Some people are smiling on the outside while fighting battles on the inside. But Lord, you see everything. You see every tear, every worry, every silent prayer, every disappointment, every fear they haven't told anybody about. And your word says in Psalm 34, verse 18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So God, be close to them today. Remind them that they are not abandoned. Remind them they are not forgotten, that even in seasons that make no sense, you are still working all things together for their good. God, I pray that this Friday would be filled with your favor. Open doors that no man can shut. Make crooked paths straight before them. Let unexpected blessings find them today. Let divine opportunities locate them. Let the right people encourage them, support them, and speak life into them today. Bless the work of their hands today. Bless their job, bless their family, bless their home, bless their health, bless their finances, bless their mind. Bless the things that they've been praying about in secret. Bless the goals that they've almost given up on. Bless their dreams that feel delayed. Lord, if you place those dreams in their heart, I pray you give them the strength to keep going. I pray against anxiety, fear, discouragement, confusion, bitterness, and hopelessness. Your word says in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Guard their heart today. Guard their mind today. Fill them with peace that makes no sense. Fill them with hope again. Fill them with gratitude. Help them notice the blessings they already have. We trust you with this day. We trust you with our future. We trust you even when we do not understand everything. And God, I thank you for all that you have done, all you were doing, and all that you continue to do in our lives. I pray all these things in the mighty and wonderful name of Jesus. Amen. Have a blessed Friday.
Amen.
Dear God, I pray
Let
for the person.
Say amen. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Hey. I'm not gonna hold it. Let me double check something, because I need to talk about some things. So I'm gonna come right back with Trump to the dump, dump, dump. Just wanted to actually hear. Shout out to my tea sippers who notified me earlier today about the hearing and the sentencing. I was busy and didn't realize it, so shout out to the tea sipper. I greatly appreciate it. Long live Dolph, man. It's been a journey. It has absolutely been a journey. It's still overwhelming. Still kind of leaves me speechless to know that this young man did not get full justice. But it is what it is. You have to trust what God allows. Yeah, I ever heard that old saying, a song, I think at one point it was trust what God allows. We're better off that way. He knows what's best. Hold on. My music's still too loud. Let me check my volumes. Oh no, it's this one.
May 29.
Thank you, John.
May 29 for bonding. Thank you for trial. Thank you, Judge. All right, we ready, Mr. Smith?
I believe we are, Your Honor.
We are, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is State of Tennessee versus Cornelius Smith. This indictment 2204769. Matter that's been pending in this court for some time. I think it also has been the subject of a couple trials for the co-defendants. Mr. Smith will plead guilty to the offense of murder, second degree, a Class A felony as included under count 1 of the indictment. 20 years confinement as a 100% violent offender. Be served.
Experience the irresistible crunch of our golden fish crisps, more addictive than
Violent
chips or spicy corn
offender.
snacks. Made from wild Alaskan fish, these crisps are oven-baked without a drop of oil.
Tennessee Department of Corrections, taking into consideration 20 years confinement as a 100% violent offender. Will plead.
Oh, that just messed me up. Let's go. Hey, Big Pressure, you still trust the Fed? I still want them to do what they are supposed to do. Do I trust them? No. Do I want them to do what they are supposed to do? Yes, I do. Salute to you, Big Pressure. You still believe? Ooh, Lord.
Trials for the co-defendants. Mr. Smith will plead guilty to the offense of murder, second degree, a Class A felony as included under count 1 of the indictment. 20 years confinement as a 100% violent offender. Be served. Tennessee Department of Corrections. Taken into consideration.
So he done served what, 3-4 years?
Mr. Smith's cooperation in this matter from the time.
How soon will he be out?
Until now, Mr. Smith has cooperated fully.
Fully.
In the prosecution, first Justin Johnson, and then another co-defendant. Taken from the time of his arrest until now, Mr. Smith has cooperated fully. In the prosecution, first Justin Johnson, and then another co-defendant taken into consideration his truthful testimony in those cases. Had the matter gone to trial, the state's proof would have been that on the day of the indictment in Memphis and Shelby County, Tennessee, at a local business, Makeda's Cookies, Adolph Thornton Jr., the victim in the case, was there with his brother. Two individuals, Mr. Justin Johnson, Mr. Cornelius Smith, who had been propositioned previously and offered money to kill Mr. Thornton, who's known as the rapper Dolph, drove up in a stolen vehicle. They both got out of the car and they both fired guns, killing Mr. Thornton there on the scene. There's video of the incident. There's also video of Mr. Johnson and Mr. Smith after the incident going to an apartment complex where Mr. Smith had to care for a wound that he received during the shooting. There'd be testimony from several witnesses identifying Mr. Smith as one of the shooters and also describing his actions before and after the shooting. Those events occurred in Memphis and Shelby County, Tennessee. As I said, from his arrest forward, Mr. Smith has taken responsibility for this, admitted his involvement, provided truthful testimony to the state and the prosecution of the co-defendants. We'd ask Your Honor to accept the plea and counsel stipulation.
Our plea to stipulate that those will be the facts as put forth by the state of the matter on trial. Ask that you accept the plea.
Thank you. Gentlemen, Mr. Hackman, you just said plea to count one of the indictment?
I'm sorry, I did say that. It's under count two. I think count one's a conspiracy count.
Right.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Right.
There were two indictments, and this is a superseding indictment, and all got.
And so as to the first indictment?
As to the first indictment, that'll be null process.
Might have get, or 15, 10 to 15. I agree.
She'll enter,
I agree.
later.
But how long will that be?
I didn't want it.
I agree, Big Pressure. Cause I don't know why people think that Yella gonna walk. Yella is not walking. And hey Janet, but since this is state though, and not fed, so that means if he have done about what 5 years, but he didn't do 5. He's been locked up for about 5 years. So how many years does that mean he gonna be left to serve? What, 2, 3? Good behavior. He been in PC, you know. So that's why Josh and them think that he'll be home soon after he turned on the rest of the crew. Now with Cornelius, it's kind of the same thing. He's been locked. He was the first one locked up. What, in 21, 22? So what, he's gonna serve about 5, 4? That's my thing. David might, yeah, I don't know. But listen, I'm gonna back it up a little bit. But I still hold pressure that the feds, you know, come back and do what they're gonna do. How, Marie?
I did say that. It's under count 2. I think count 1's a conspiracy count.
This will definitely be used as case law.
There were 2 indictments. This is a superseding indictment, and all got.
And so as to the first indictment?
As to the first indictment, that would be null process upon plea to this indictment. I think there's some paperwork that we have for your clerk that she'll enter a little bit later.
Yeah.
That's part of that paperwork.
Okay.
I didn't want it to
So you
announce.
don't want me to non-process? Okay.
When that paperwork's ready, I'll give it to your clerk and we'll null process that. I know that
That's
there's
fine.
been some issues in the jail.
So there will be dismissal of the other charge, non-prosecuted charges.
All right, come on around, Mr. Smith.
Again, full justice for Dolph. Come on around, Mr. Smith. Come on around, Mr. Smith. Let's hear this.
Stand a second, raise up your right hand, face it.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a seat, watch this.
They done took out the so help me God.
Introducing North
So they
Carolina
not putting it on
sweet
God
potato
no
strips,
more?
available only 20 days a year. Miss it this
When
time
they
and
start
you'll have to
taking-
wait an entire year.
What in the
We
world?
select the highest quality sweet.
When did they stop putting it on So Help Me God?
Would you state your name for the record, please?
Cornelius Smith.
Mr. Smith, the deputy is handing you this petition for waiver of trial by jury and acceptance of the guilty plea. Let me know if you recognize it. Did you go over that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your rights as your attorney went over them with you? Would you state your name for the record, please?
Cornelius Smith.
Mr. Smith, the deputy is handing you this petition for waiver of trial by jury and acceptance of the guilty plea. Let me know if you recognize it. Did you go over that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your rights as your attorney went over them with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign that document?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go over your rights with you also. If there's something you don't understand, please let me know, okay? Among these rights I just spoke about is your right to have a trial by jury. Everyone has the right to have the jury to decide whether you're guilty or not guilty, instead of allowing me to convict you today without a trial. Do you understand you're giving up your trial rights by pleading guilty today?
Well, I think that is helpful to the family, that he didn't, try to drag it through trial and them having to look at the pictures and listen to, it over and over again. So I know that is a little piece for them. It's not much, but it's a little, in my opinion.
We also have a right to have your attorney cross-examine the witnesses against you in front of that jury, with you in the courtroom, to make sure everyone is telling the truth. Do you understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty today? You also have a right to call your own witnesses. The state has to prove this case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't have to prove that you're innocent. However, if you want to call witnesses, I would compel those witnesses to come to court to testify for you. Do you understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty today? You also have the right to testify and tell your story to a jury. If you decided you didn't want to testify, I would not allow anyone to call you as a witness, and I would tell the jury they can't hold that against you because you have a right not to testify against yourself. Do you understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty to that? You were indicted in the matter of 2204769 on a 7-count indictment. Count 1 was conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. That's made non-prosecuted. You dismissed. Is that your understanding of this part of the agreement? That's right. Count 2 is first-degree murder. It carries with that life in prison. If we had gone to trial and you had been found guilty of first-degree murder, I would have to sentence you to life in prison. You're entering into an agreement today with the state of Tennessee where you're pleading guilty to the lesser included offense of second-degree murder, being sentenced to 20 years, range 1 at 100% as a violent offender. Is that your understanding? Yes, ma'am. And the rest of the counts 3 through 4, counts 3 through 7 are being non-prosecuted. Is that your understanding? Yes, ma'am. Now, if we had gone to trial and you had been convicted and I had sentenced you, you would have the absolute right to appeal this case to the Court of Criminal Appeals.
Not here.
Attorney and the free appeals, you could not afford one. You understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty to that? Yes, ma'am. So by entering this plea of guilty, you're not only giving up all the rights that I have explained to you, the ones your attorney went over with you, but you're also giving up the right to appeal this conviction. This is going on your record. Do you understand that? Yes, ma'am. You have any questions for me? No. Any questions for your lawyer? Has Mr. Scholl done everything you asked of him? Yes, ma'am.
Well, he looked like he was pausing, didn't he?
Is that your understanding of this part of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Count 2 is first-degree murder. It carries with that life in prison. If you had gone to trial and you had been found guilty of first-degree murder, I would have to sentence you to life in prison. You're entering into...
He was facing life in prison, just like Cornelius. Cornelius has some other stuff too that got him some extra years, but he was facing life. I know this is not a RICO. It wasn't classified as a RICO.
That's being non-prosecuted. You dismissed. dismissed. Is that your understanding of this part of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Count 2 is first degree murder. It carries with it life in prison. If we had gone to trial and you had been found guilty of first degree murder, I would have to sentence you to life in prison. You're entering into an agreement today with the state of Tennessee where you're pleading guilty to the lesser included offense of second degree murder, being sentenced to 20 years, range 1 at 100% as a violent offender. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
And the rest of the counts 3 through 4 are, counts 3 through 7 are being nullified. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if we had gone to trial and you had been convicted and I had sentenced you, you would have the absolute right to appeal this case to the Court of Criminal Appeals. I would give you a free attorney and a free appeal if you could not afford one. You understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty today.
Yes, ma'am.
So by entering this plea of guilty, you're not only giving up all the rights that I have explained to you, the ones your attorney will ever give you, but you're also giving us the right to appeal this conviction. This is going on your record. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions for me?
No.
Any questions for your lawyer? Has Mr. Shaw done everything you asked of him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I got a couple more questions for you. Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily
Yes, ma'am.
without any thoughts, pressures, or promises? You sure?
He don't seem like he's sure. What is this? What is this? Why is he not? What? Am I tripping? Pressure, is he not sure? Wait, what in the world is going on? Up in here? Up in here.
Without any thoughts, pressures, or promises? You sure? You gotta speak up, 'cause it's recording.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You may step down. Court file.
He gave that I don't have a choice. He got that I don't have no choice vibe going on. That's puzzling me. He been ready to get this over with. And now he's moving like he don't have a
Are you entering
choice.
this plea freely and voluntarily
Yes, ma'am.
without any thoughts, pressures, or promises? You sure?
Oh wow, what is this? Let's go.
You gotta speak up, 'cause it's recording.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You may step
Hi,
down.
Cherie.
Court files defendant's plea being freely and voluntarily normally in favor and guilty and set to free guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, Judge.
He said what?
I'm saying,
Cornelius, I wish you would have said something. What in the world was that? Where's the light? Oh man, what is going on?
being freely and voluntarily normally in favor and guilty and set to free guilty.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Judge, I believe that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, Judge.
I'm standing, Lisa.
Hold on, y'all. I don't know what that is. Hold on. Let me listen to old boy here. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what that was. What was he expecting? I know good and damn well he wasn't expecting to walk free. I know he knew he was going to jail. I know that, right? Let me hear this guy break it down.
Take a circle, raise up your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
If y'all think God got this much power to
Cornelius
influence, y'all
Smith,
not
one of the
thinking deep
admitted hitters
enough.
in the young Dolph case,
I know
just accepted a plea deal and was
I
sentenced
know
to
it's
20
deeper
years.
than that. I know it's government induced. I know it's a higher up that's higher than all of them.
You not only think about the rights that I have explained to you, the ones your attorney would ever be, but you also.
Pressure, if you remember back, I know it's deeper than that. But when I talk about the whole full circle, it's politics. I'm talking about people in the White House. You know, it was actors. A part of that, I don't want to say Illuminati, but that social climax, the social, you know, Diddy, Jay-Z. I don't think that they knew that they were involved with those type of people, but all of it has the same texture. So, do I think that the government is involved? Yeah. Do I think they know? I mean, I'm talking about like Cornelius, and maybe they do. I don't know. But I know that it's deeper than all of these cats that are involved. What do you say? Okay, and you said, so he got 20 years. Yes, he accepted a plea for 20. Why is this song? He's accepted a plea for 20 years for his witness testimony in a couple of few cases. They say that he's in protective custody. And that was some of the holdup while waiting on, you know, his sentencing, was to make sure his security in his facility was set up properly because of the threat. But hold on, let me get to this other guy. Shout out to IDN.
But then you got the right to appeal this eviction. This is going on your record, so you understand that.
Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions for me?
No.
Any questions for your lawyer?
But the part people are going to argue about is not just the sentence. It is how this case ended. Because one man got life, one man walked free, one man got probation, and now the final defendant in the young Dolph case.
I forgot about Justin Johnson, brother. Hold on. I forgot about Jamarcus. I mean, although he didn't do anything, I did forget that he got probation. Hi, Pastor 9. Hey, Mac Ash. Hey. Shout out to Mac Ash. She's from the Mo 3 sector. And welcome.
Take a circle, raise up your right hand. Face you.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't like that they took out the so help you God. I mean, I don't think I like that. Why they take that out? You know, I don't like that. Let's go. Watch to the full. But why are you not moving?
Cornelius Smith, one of the admitted hitters in the young Dolph case,
just accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 20 years.
You understand you're giving up that right by pleading guilty to that?
Yes, ma'am.
So by entering this plea of guilty, you're not only giving up all the rights that I have explained to you, the ones your attorney would ever give you, but you're also giving up the right to appeal this conviction. This is going on your record. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions for me?
No.
Any questions for your lawyer?
But the part people are going to argue about is not just the sentence. It is how this case ended. Because one man got life, one man walked free, one man got probation, and now the final defendant in the young Dolph case just took a deal. That is why this is bigger than another court update. This is the legal case reaching its final chapter after years of testimony, rumors, evidence, surveillance, courtroom battles, and people trying to figure out who really played what.
Surveillance. Which part was surveillance? Did they show us the surveillance? Like, what they mean by surveillance? Like somebody was being watched? Let's go.
This is the legal case reaching its final chapter after years of testimony, rumors, evidence, surveillance, courtroom battles, and people trying to figure out who really played what role and what happened to Dolph. And when you hear 20 years, the first reaction is simple. Was that enough? Because this was not a random case. This was young Dolph, a Memphis rapper who built his own route, stayed independent, turned Paper Route Empire into a real movement, and became one of the most respected artists in the streets and in the industry.
They can't stop.
So when the final defendant gets 20 years, people are not just looking at the number. They are looking at the whole story. They are looking at what Smith admitted. They are looking at what he said in court. They are looking at why Justin Johnson got life, why Hernandez Govan walked free, and why this final plea deal feels like
Cornelius, Justin Straight Drop got life because he turned on him. He gave him up. He wouldn't have got nothing, probably, if it wasn't for Cornelius Smith. And if Govan didn't have all those proffers, he would have been locked up. He would have been facing life with all his, what are they called, amendments? Yeah. That's why Straight Drop got life. And they was aiming to get that for Govan. But Manny saved him and said that the system was corrupt. They was finna railroad him and not give him credit for all that snitching. Let's make sure we put that in there.
they are looking at what Smith admitted. They are looking at what he said in court. They are looking at why Justin Johnson got life, why Hernandez Govan walked free, and why this final plea deal feels like
there is possibly an opportunity for a RICO, but that's not this case. Yeah, not this case. This ends it. This is for the state. They are looking, if they're planning on a RICO, it's going to be fed, not state. And that's why earlier on, what's his name, Haggerty was saying that they were investigating, providing information or obtaining information also for the feds. I have no idea why it's giving me this blue hint. I can't stand it. Rico died with Juk. You think so? I don't think. That was just one party. That's just one party. Yeah, we not gonna act like oh girl, the money that was given to them to pay for their courts when Juk was deceased didn't come from CMG. Come on, person, stop playing like that. That money came from CMG, and Juk was alive and dead or wherever, it still came from CMG. And he was not CMG. He was just an employee of CMG. His sister, Robin, was the bookkeeper. Come on now, stop playing. Let me see if I can change this light. You know, one of Trump's biggest supporters were black rappers, especially in Atlanta. So when we talk about higher ups and government and whatever, trafficking, wow, man, what is this blue? I can't stand this. I don't think it died with him. Now, how far they want to go, you know, I mean, when you're talking about surveillance, then it's when it's two of them was probably under surveillance that we know of. And that is
paper, but not necessarily
CEO Teasy and Jook. But I know you don't want to believe me, Pressure, when I said that he already had an obligation to federal now. I don't know what that means. I know you don't want to believe me, but Yo Gotti had to pick up some of that surveillance for Jook and Teasy. Teasy was under surveillance the night before he got popped. But let me hear him out. I just don't like this setting on this light. I don't know what that is. It's federal now. I'm trolling Gotti and Moneybag Yo. Okay, let's go. I'm not opposed to none of that. And Black Youngster done talk on that behalf. I think a young Black Youngster will be probably an informant in that regard.
what Smith admitted. They are looking at what he said in court. They are looking at why Justin Johnson got life, why Hernandez Govan walked free, and why this final plea deal feels like closure on paper, but not necessarily closure in real life.
I agree.
Because the court may be done with the young Dolph case, but the questions around it are not going away. And to understand why this sentence is causing so much conversation, you have to start with what Cornelius Smith was originally facing.
Dad, what do you actually do at work? Project management. Why? I'm doing a career thing for school. How much do project management?
Cornelius Smith did not walk into court with a light case. He was originally facing first-degree charges and other serious charges connected to the passing of young Dolph. But under the plea deal, Smith pleaded guilty to second-degree charges and several others.
Hold on, y'all. I'm having some real technical issues today. And I'm really not understanding why.
Empire. He put artists on. He stayed connected to Memphis. He gave back. And he carried himself like somebody who understood that success was bigger than music. That is why his death hurt people the way it did.
Hold on.
Involvement. So every word he said came with pressure attached to it. And that is why this plea deal feels so important now. He's telling the truth. Is he trying to help himself? Is he giving the full story? Or only the version that gives him the best chance at less time? That question followed Cornelius Smith from the moment he became one of the key witnesses. And now that he has been sentenced to 20 years, that question is back again. Because his testimony did not just affect his own case. It shaped how the public understood the entire young Dolph case. Before this plea deal, Cornelius Smith had already made headlines for what he said under oath. He testified that he and Justin Johnson were involved in the shooting that took young Dolph's life. That alone was major, but then the case went even deeper. Smith testified about alleged money being connected to the attack. He claimed there was a larger plan. He claimed there were people behind the scenes. And during the trial, Big Jook's name was brought into the courtroom through testimony. Now, that has to be said carefully. Big Jook was never charged in young Dolph's case. Yo Gotti was not charged in young Dolph's case. And claims made in testimony are not the same thing as every claim being proven in court. But
there is a reason why, with all the surveillance and all the arrest and unarrest and, well, not unarrest, well, I'm just saying, letting Big Jook go, why he was still on the street, why Big Jook was never arrested. Yeah, it's something to that. And these people know that, because who released him when he was picked up for questioning? Who released him and didn't detain him? How is that possible? Same thing was going on with CEO Teasy. He would be picked up. Domestic violence. Stolen cars at the house. Drugs at the house. Guns at the house. He bonded out before seeing a judge. How? So I can't, but possibly, now, Pressure gonna say you still believe the feds. Well, I have to believe at some point justice is gonna be served, because what's happening right now, a lot of officials involved with trafficking and drugs and all of this type of stuff in Missouri and other stuff, not Missouri, Memphis and here and there. I think a judge or something I saw in Missouri are being arrested and detained. So I'm going to be hopeful. I'm not going to give up hope, because my hope is in God, not necessarily the feds. There's a reason why Big Jook was not detained.
Years, that question is back again, because his testimony did not just affect his own case. It shaped how the public...
And per Big Mouth Govan, the two people who he said was witnesses against him is dead. Both of them. So, and Jook was an informant too. All three of them were informants. Teasy, Jook, and Govan. They all would get picked up or arrested and let out.
Understood the entire young Dolph case. Before this plea deal, Cornelius Smith had already made headlines for what he said under oath. He testified that he and Justin Johnson were involved in the shooting that took young Dolph's life. That alone was major, but then the case went even deeper. Smith testified about alleged money being connected to the attack. He claimed there was a larger plan. He claimed there were people behind the scenes. And during the trial, Big Jook's name was brought into the courtroom through testimony. Now, that has to be said carefully. Big Jook was never charged in young Dolph's case. Yo Gotti was not charged in young Dolph's case. And claims made in testimony are not the same thing as every claim being proven in court. But the reason that moment was so explosive is because it connected the case to years of tension people had already been talking about. Young Dolph had a long history of conflict in Memphis rap. Fans knew about
CMG
the issue.
paid for their attorneys.
Fans knew about the diss records. Fans knew about the tension between Paper Route Empire and people connected to the other side of Memphis music. And for years, people wondered if that tension had anything to do with what happened to Dolph. So, when Smith got on the stand and started talking about alleged money, alleged orders, and names being connected to the situation, it changed how people looked at the entire case. It was no longer just about two men showing up at Makita's. It became a bigger story about jealousy, money, reputation, power. and what can happen when rap tension spills into real life. But there was always one major issue. Smith was not an outside witness. He was not somebody who just saw something from a distance. He was admitting his own involvement. So every word he said came with pressure attached to it. And that is why this plea deal feels so important now. Because the man who helped tell the story in court just received his own final sentence. This is where the young Dolph case starts to feel complicated. Justin Johnson was convicted. He was sentenced to life, plus additional time. That gave the case one clear result. But then Hernandez Govan went to trial, and that case ended completely differently. Govan was accused of helping organize the attack. Prosecutors argued that he was part of the plan, but the jury found him not guilty on all charges. That verdict changed the way a lot of people looked at the case, because it showed that even with testimony, even with prosecutors laying out their theory, even with the history and the allegations, the jury still needed proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And when it came to Govan, they did not convict. Then there was Jamarcus Johnson, who received probation after his role in helping after the fact. So now look at the final picture. Justin Johnson got life. Cornelius Smith got 20 years. Jamarcus Johnson got probation. Hernandez Govan was found not guilty. That is why people are debating this case so hard, because legally, every person had a different role, a different case, and a different outcome. But emotionally, fans see one thing. Young Dolph is gone. His family still has to live with that loss. His kids still have to grow up without their father. His label still had to carry on without its leader. And the people who loved his music are still trying to understand how something this bold happened in broad daylight. So when the final defendant gets 20 years, it does not feel simple. It feels like the case is over, but the story still has missing pieces. And that is why this update hits harder than a normal sentencing. Because this is not just about Smith's time. It is about whether the full truth ever really came out.
If you ever wanted to start your own clothing brand, but you didn't want to buy inventory, handle shipping, or risk wasting your money, this video is for you.
Hold on.
Today I'm showing.
Young Dolph's passing always felt different because of who he was. He was not just a rapper with hit songs. He represented independence. He represented ownership. He represented betting on yourself when everybody else wants you to sign your power away. Dolph made being independent look possible. Family still has to live with that loss. His kids still have to grow up without their father. His label still had to carry on without its leader. And the people who loved his music are still trying to understand how something this bold happened in broad daylight. So when the final defendant gets 20 years, it does not feel simple. It feels like the case is over, but the story still has missing pieces. And that is why this update hits harder than a normal sentencing. Because
I have no idea what is going on right now. They just, okay. Am I just irritated? Cause ain't nothing. Long live Dolph. This is horrible.
this is not just about Smith's time. It is about whether the full truth ever really came out. Young Dolph's passing always felt different because of who he was. He was not just a rapper with hit songs. He represented independence. He represented ownership. He represented betting on yourself when everybody else wants you to sign your power away. Dolph made being independent look possible. He built Paper Route Empire. He put artists on. He stayed connected to Memphis. He gave back. And he carried himself like somebody who understood that success was bigger than music. That is why his death hurt people the way it did. Because Dolph was taken out in his own city, at a place connected to his real life, in the middle of a normal day. That is the part that always made the story feel so heavy. It was not some faraway situation. It was Memphis. It was Makeda's. It was a place people knew. It was a moment that felt too close, too bold, and too personal. And after that, every court update reopened the wound. The arrests, the surveillance, the testimony, the alleged money, the trial. the life sentence, the not guilty verdict, and now the 20-year plea deal. Every update brought people back to the same question. Did Dolph really get justice? For some people, the answer is yes. They will say the main people involved were held accountable. One man got life, another got 20 years, and the court system did what it could prove. But for other people, the answer is more complicated. Because they still believe there were bigger forces behind the scenes. They still believe not everything was exposed. They still believe the case ended legally, but not emotionally. And that is what makes this final sentence so powerful. It closes the courtroom, but it does not close the conversation. Cornelius Smith receiving 20 years marks the end of the final defendant's case. That is the official part. But the bigger story is what this ending says about the entire young Dolph case. Because this was never just a case about one moment. It became a case about Memphis. It became a case about rap beef. It became a case about loyalty, betrayal, money, pride, and power. It became a case where people tried to separate what was proven in court from what was rumored in the streets. And that is not easy to do, because in the courtroom, everything comes down to evidence. But in the culture, people look at patterns. They look at history. They look at tension. They look at who benefited. They look at who stayed quiet. They look at who got named, who got charged, who got convicted, and who walked away. That is why this case still feels heavy, because even though the final sentence is now in place, the story does not feel clean. One person got life. One person got 20 years. One person got probation. One person walked free. And one of the biggest names brought up during testimony is no longer here and was never charged in the case. So the legal system has reached its ending, but the public is still left with the debate. Was Cornelius Smith's 20-year sentence enough? Did his cooperation earn him that deal? Did the court get it right? Or did the ending still leave too many unanswered questions? Because for Dolph fans, this is bigger than sentencing. This is about legacy. This is about a father. This is about a man who built something on his own terms and lost his life in the city he never fully. That is why his death hurt people the way it did. Because Dolph was taken out in his own city, at a place connected to his real life, in the middle of a normal day. That is the part that always made the story feel so heavy. It was not some faraway situation. It was Memphis. It was Makeda's. It was a place people knew. It was a moment that felt too close, too bold, and too personal. And after that, every court update reopened the wound. The arrests, the surveillance, the testimony, the alleged money, the trial, the life sentence, the not guilty verdict, and now the 20-year plea deal. Every update brought people back to the same question. Did Dolph really get justice? For some people, the answer is yes. They will say the main people involved were held accountable. One man got life, another got 20 years, and the court system did what it could prove. But for other people, the answer is more complicated. Because they still believe there were bigger forces behind the scenes. They still believe not everything was exposed. They still believe the case ended legally, but not emotionally. And that is what makes this final sentence so powerful. It closes the courtroom, but it does not close the conversation. Cornelius Smith receiving 20 years marks the end of the final defendant's case. That is the official part. But the bigger story is what this ending says about the entire young Dolph case. Because this was never just a case about one moment. It became a case about Memphis. It became a case about rap beef. It became a case about loyalty, betrayal, money, pride, and power. It became a case where people tried to separate what was proven in court from what was rumored in the streets. And that is not easy to do, because in the courtroom, everything comes down to evidence. But in the culture, people look at patterns. They look at history. They look at tension. They look at who benefited. They look at who stayed quiet. They look at who got named, who got charged, who got convicted, and who walked away. That is why this case still feels heavy, Because even though the final sentence is now in place, the story does not feel clean. One person got life. One person got 20 years. One person got probation. One person walked free. And one of the biggest names brought up during testimony is no longer here and was never charged in the case. So the legal system has reached its ending, but the public is still left with the debate. Was Cornelius Smith's 20-year sentence enough? Did his cooperation earn him that deal? Did the court get it right? Or did the ending still leave too many unanswered questions? Because for Dolph fans, this is bigger than sentencing. This is about legacy. This is about a father. This is about a man who built something on his own terms and lost his life in the city he never fully turned his back on. And now the biggest question is what happens next? Because this story still does not feel finished. If you think 20 years was enough, say that. If you think the sentence should have been higher, say that too. Because even with the final defendant sentenced, the young Dolph case is still one of those stories people will be arguing about for years. And if you want the next chapter when it drops, subscribe.
Ooh, you right, Pressure. It just don't feel right to me. It just don't feel right to me. It just don't feel right. You know, but nothing nowadays, if I'm going to be 100, don't nothing feel right these days. It's just so much hidden corruption. And them folks got their hands in some of all of it. In some of all of it. So I don't want to spend a lot of time here because it's to me, it's not complete and it's not full justice, and I don't know what else to say about it. So I'll be back at 9. I have it set, and then I will jump on to our regular programming. Long live Dolph. I still want full justice for him. The money came from CMG. It didn't say the money came from Big Jug. It came from accounting. And that is Yo Gotti. That is his family. And it's just kind of no way around that. So until the next chapter, Yellow will be doing interview. Oh my God. I'm not gonna believe Yellow. I believe when he said I put him in the dirt. He put him in the dirt. I'm gonna believe that because that's what he said on his mouth, out of his mouth. He put him in the dirt. Ain't that what he said? He put him in the dirt. So no, I'm not gonna believe Yellow. I believe Cornelius because he was detailing. He told on himself. I ain't believe after being shot trying to help a woman in domestic violence. Lord, Eddie Ray Hill, 48 died after being shot while trying to help a woman during a domestic violence confrontation outside the Texarkana aluminum plant in Nashville, Tennessee. The plant was in Nashville, Texas Aluminum. Brother lost his life. Grown folks don't know how to act. Yeah, let me chill. It just remind me of some stuff I see every day on YouTube. I'm just sick of it. people be arguing and women be arguing and fighting with these guys. First of all, like they married to them or something. And the first thing they want to do is pick up their phone and call the police, you know, and then lie and exaggerate. You know, I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. Yeah, I'll be back at 9. Hey, Belinda. I'll be back, you know. I'm just ain't digging none of this. Summit in ruins. Oh, yeah, I got to come back and laugh at Trump, baby, because he did not get his way. Cut China trip short. Cut that trip short, baby. Folk thought I was laughing. We was laughing last night when he got demoted, baby, but keep the people divided is part of the agenda to trick y'all. Pressure, I don't know why you say that. It's the people who do it. Why do the people continue to follow in their trap and do the things that they do? Why? The summit was ruined. Yeah, let me come on back because I'm not digging this right here, but I am tickled how the Chinese people, VIP squatter, they wouldn't even let them, resident military being put out. It's just so much going on. Don't be a follower. You know, I think it's some of the stuff, some of the poisons that Trump and his friends them put into the foods. Some of the side effects to the poison, the toxics, is behavior, manic behavior. They serving you humans. Ain't no telling what spirit of steak, ground meat you got. I mean, come on. Now they're talking about you need to do a DNA test after you eat ground meat or beef or whatever, and it may show what percentage you are of somebody else's blood or somebody else's hormones or chromosomes in your body. That's just the craziest crap. And your president has been along with these people even before he was a president. All of this stuff is coming out, so it's just sick. So I do think some of the stuff that we are eating, some of the stuff that they put in those cocktails in your arms, some of the stuff that they spray in the air, it has mind-altering side effects. We too strong for them. Emotionally and mentally, they want us to be fat. They just manipulated the teaching, the medicine, just everything has been manipulated. And it's very disturbing to me. But I'm finna get off so I can get ready for tonight, because right now this has disturbed my peace. But that man right there, that's why China, oh boy, punked him. Punked him. As ADA say, little bow wow. Bow wowed him. Globally. Y'all, I'll be back at 9.